Have you ever felt like you needed to discover something new to you? An experience that in some way leaves a lasting impression or teaches you something that you didn't know that you've been needing? That was me until quite recently. Quite often I'll be playing Roblox with friends of mine, trying out any random game that we can find on there, even some really weird stuff. But we were playing one night when one of my friends said to me something along the lines of like, hey, you should come join this game that I found, it's actually really good. The game was called Abyss World, and out of my curiosity, I joined the game. And I sucked. I couldn't even make it halfway to the second checkpoint during the first time we played it, which is a little embarrassing to me now. We played again a day or so after that, and I finally made it to checkpoint 2 before we stopped playing again. And then something just clicked with me. I wanted more. I wanted to keep going. I wanted to know what else this game had to offer. What was at the bottom of the abyss? If I could even get there. So that next day, I hopped on by myself and truly started my journey, and I'd soon come to find a big appreciation for this Roblox experience. Abyss World in some way helped me during a time where I wasn't sure what to do with myself, and I just want to talk about my time with this game. Welcome to Abyss World. Abyss World is inspired by a couple things. I've heard a lot that the game was inspired by an anime known as Made in Abyss, which I have briefly looked into, and while it looks to have quite a nice art style and an interesting world, I've also heard that it has some rather disturbing scenes too, so I'm not super sure if I will watch it, but part of me would like to give it a try. Meanwhile, the gameplay of Abyss World is inspired by the game Jump King, a 2D game where you're trying to ascend up a tall tower by jumping. And I don't mean your typical press the jump button to jump type of obby platforming. In Jump King, you charge up your jumps before leaping, and you best pray that you clear that gap. The same is true in Abyss World, however here we are not climbing upwards, we're descending into the abyss, and should you overshoot or undershoot a jump, the chances are you'll either take damage or you'll die, which will result in you losing progress. Now these types of games aren't usually my cup of tea, but there was something interesting about Abyss World that lured me in, wanting to know more about it and fully experience what it had to offer. As of right now, the game is split into two different game modes. Casual mode, which is recommended for new players, is a mode where you can experience the game without having to worry about lives. Checkpoints can be used to show how much progress you've made, and you can freely teleport to each one that you've unlocked. The only thing you'll really lose if you die at all is the progress you made during the route from one checkpoint to the next. Overall, it's a good mode to get the hang of the game, the controls, and the other mechanics, but you are missing out on more of the game's aspects. My first run of the game was on casual mode since I was completely new to the game, and with the many deaths I had before finishing that run, you'd think I'd probably stop there. But no, I instantly wanted to do it all over again, however this time on adventure mode. Now adventure mode is where the real deal is. While the core gameplay is still the same as it was in casual mode, in this mode you have a life system, where every death means you lose a life. Should you lose all your lives, it's game over, and back to the very start for you. That can sound daunting, but there is a way for you to not lose all of your progress. Unlike in casual mode where checkpoints can be viewed as a save point upon reaching them, in adventure mode you have to do a little more work first. Each checkpoint has a series of challenges that you can complete. Completing 3 of these challenges permanently unlocks that checkpoint so that you won't lose that progress should you lose all your lives. The challenges in question for each checkpoint are Precision, Speed, Ascension, Memory, and Route Foundation. Precision is where you have to complete the entire route again, but this time making sure you do not take any damage at all. It really tests you to be careful with progressing through the areas again. Speed is where you have to race through a route in a certain amount of time. Try to be as quick as you can while not slipping up is a great way to learn new ways to get around areas as well as faster ways to get through routes. Ascension changes things up to where you have to return to the previous checkpoint. This challenge can often make you think on how to handle going back upwards, giving a new spin on areas that you've already been through. Memory memory. Oh boy, memory. I remember first seeing this challenge and I wasn't looking forward to it. The memory challenge is where you have to repeat the route that you did, but this time with limited visibility. This one tests to see how well you can remember each route. I've managed to complete a fair few of these challenges, but there have been a few times where I've just completely lost track of where I needed to go. Route Foundation is simply completed by finishing all 5 challenges in the previous checkpoint. So this is a challenge that will get completed per checkpoint automatically if you decide to finish each challenge before you move on to the next checkpoint. Completing all the challenges of a checkpoint also rewards you with a wearable cosmetic that you can wear in game. It's not much, but I feel like it's a nice reward. You can even find some hidden cosmetics in certain areas for doing a little bit of exploring as well. Finishing any challenge rewards you with more lives, and honestly, you'll probably end up ranking up quite a lot if you focus on completing the challenges. So this will actually ease off the stress of getting a game over. Starting the game on adventure mode, you only have 10 lives to begin with, but because of how short and easy the route between checkpoint 0 and 1 is, you'll actually end up with a good amount of life to start with if you complete all of those challenges. My experience in adventure mode was actually quite fun. Seeing as I had prior knowledge on each route, I was able to get from start to finish in a much faster time than previously. That, on top of completing challenges to test my skills and knowledge of each route, really added more to that experience. Throughout Abyss World, you can come across chests that give you healing items and materials. You can also find other materials in the form of various plants. Using workbenches and cauldrons, you're able to craft potions and bandages to heal your health if you take damage, and other items like a torch to light up dark spots. You can also craft at any point, but you're limited on crafting slots if you're not using a workbench or a cauldron. I personally don't find myself really crafting much, but I often do go out of my way to open any chests if I see them. During your journey, you will probably witness a lot of other players falling to their demise or seeing a player drop dead right in front of you. Now, let's say you fell quite a large distance. Well, in this case, you're dead, and you'll have to respawn. However, if your fall was short enough, chances are a soul will appear above you, and if another player happens to notice you, they can come over to you and revive you right where you landed. You also have the karma system. It is mostly there just to show you how long people have been playing the game for, and doesn't really do a whole lot other than that, but you can unlock a pretty cool accessory if you do reach 10,000 karma. Every death you take, checkpoint you reach, challenge you complete or repeat, any chest you open, all these actions grant you karma. If you're playing in adventure mode, this NPC can convert all the lives you currently have into karma, at the cost of you restarting your progress. Also, don't think you are completely safe during your journey. There are enemy creatures that you'll encounter in this game. You got these weird blob things called slugfishes that often have strange behavior. They also sort of look like that one Pingu meme. These guys can attempt to latch onto you, and if they do, they'll start to suck away at your health. However, one big jump is enough to get rid of them. Then you also have the Fisher Fox, which don't appear much and are easy to avoid, but they can maul you to death if they manage to get you. I wonder if we will see any new types of enemies in this game in the future. The overall atmosphere and world design in Abyss World to me is very beautiful. It's interesting to see how the environment changes the further down you go. Starting the journey at Windmill Town, full of buildings and civilization. Not far down from there, you find places like Workers' Burrow. Immediately after their wooded boundary and onwards, you'll find areas seemingly abandoned, now overtaken by nature, like the ruined Umbra or the Cathedral of Roots. The areas from here have a nice design of nature mixed in with what seem to have been built by people in the past, like the tower that you have to briefly climb at Cardinal Spire, or traversing the many water pipes at stagnant pipeworks. Eventually the environment starts to focus a lot more on nature, like areas such as Plantasia, or is it Plantasia? All the way down to Hagtree Repose, and then finally ending at the World Gate. There's a lot of areas where I'll just sit and relax, taking in the scenery around me and listening to the game's music. Speaking of music, the soundtrack for Abyss World was composed by Redome, I really hope I'm saying that right, who did an absolutely fantastic job in making the music for this game. Each theme perfectly captures different tones that both complement the environment and the feelings and thoughts you might have when playing. have themes that sound so energetic and hopeful, and others that sound so mysterious. That, coupled with the overall world design and environments, to me created a lot of intrigue and wonder, making me want to know more about the world, what was out there waiting for me to discover. I often felt like the music was motivating me in a sense, making me want to get further, to get better at it, to understand how to tackle obstacles of ease. Music can be powerful stuff, and when used right, it can leave lasting impressions and memories. During my albeit short time so far with this game, I've seen my fair share of players raging, some straight up quitting, and others struggling to make progress, which I think for this kind of game is kind of a given. In my overall experiences though, I've surprisingly not ran into many forms of toxicity within the player base. In fact, I found quite the opposite, something that I truly appreciate to see. Other more experienced players supporting and helping newer players that might be having a tough time, giving encouragement, advice on how mechanics work. Seeing how supportive others can be made me want to do the same. If I see someone that is in need of helping, I'll actively drop whatever I was doing in favour of going back on myself just to help someone out. If I see someone that needs reviving, I'll get over there as best as I can and get them back on their feet. It's little things like that that can go a long way. I've also ran into some really cool people during my time here. One time I was basically kidnapped and taken to go touch grass somewhere that you can't normally get to. It was kind of fun being down there at 20,000 depth, even if there wasn't anything there, but it was kind of relaxing. I haven't finished everything that this game has to offer. I still have a lot of challenges left to complete, and who knows, maybe someday I will complete them all if I really dedicate time to it. I wasn't expecting a Roblox game, especially one with gameplay like this, to have such an effect on me in a positive way. It can be really surprising when something just clicks with you in ways you weren't expecting, and in the end I'm really glad it did. Abyss World is a game that kept pushing me to keep going, to not just give up, that I could make it. Every death I took was simply a lesson. Maybe I overshot something, maybe I undershot a jump. The next time around, I'll be able to do that better and make more progress. I really want to thank the developers for making Abyss World. If the game ever does get updated with more content, I'll be sure to continue my journey even deeper into the Abyss. Though if the game is left how it is, I'll actually be content with the world gate being the stopping point. So the game actually did receive an update during the time working on this video. It mainly fixed a bunch of things as well as remastered some earlier areas, and they also added a pretty fun side area as well. And there was also the April Fool's update for this year, which and then they changed the name of the game to Wahoo World, and every time you jumped, you would go... Well, that seemed to be it for updates. Wait a minute. Then that means... So I honestly don't really have much of a plan this year when it comes to making content, so if I make only a few videos this year, then I'll honestly be okay with that. So, it's been a while, hasn't it? I last posted in February and I haven't made much else since then. I'll be real with you all, I have been dealing with probably the largest burnout I've ever faced when it comes to specifically making content on YouTube. I've been very empty when it comes to ideas and what I felt like doing, or if there were certain ideas worth exploring. I've had numerous attempts to create concepts for content that I think would have been interesting, but those ideas just never stuck. To be truthful with you all as well, I had a short period where I was feeling in some way hopeless, and I considered just packing my bags up and walking away from YouTube, but I quickly shut down any of those thoughts. I love creating, I genuinely love making content no matter how many people see it, and I love having this as my hobby that, despite all those feelings, I knew I wanted to still try. I just needed to find that desire again. Thankfully, Abyss World helped me find a way to reignite that desire to get something out there, to keep going with what I enjoy doing, to try and improve even more, and I'm glad that I can start doing that by talking about the journey that ended up helping me. I've not been entirely gone when it comes to the content scene though. I've also had the opportunity to edit for other people, and this too has really helped me get back on track with things. So to everyone that I have worked with so far, thank you all so much for giving me a chance. I really appreciate it so much. Oh yeah, and not to mention, I do make a few small uploads on my extra channel, but these videos didn't require much effort to do. I can't promise that I'll be making videos a lot more often. I'm going to be easier on myself and not stress about when I need to make content. Instead, I want to keep the mindset of working on something when I know that there's something that I want to do, especially when I have other projects that I'm working on too. If you've made it this far into the video, I really appreciate you being here, and who knows, maybe you'd like to give Abyss World a try if it's caught your attention, and I really hope you do give it a shot if that is the case. If I could make it, then I believe you can too. You just have to try.